Hi, I'm Kira. Welcome to Yoga for Golfers. If you clicked on this video, you probably love golf. It's a great game, wealth of mental and physical benefits to play it. However, there's a lot of repetitive movements in golf, a lot of spinal rotation, long hours walking, hunching over, and these things can lead to some unwanted tension in the body. So this class will feature some yoga-inspired drills and stretches to really help you open up the upper back, improve your rotation, and open your hips. I have a lot of students who love golf, and this class is designed for golfers from the areas I specifically here need more opening and stretching so that your swing can be more seamless. This is a newer yoga channel. I'm so happy you're here. If you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing and liking the video and sharing it with your friends. It really helps me to grow this community. For your class today, you're just going to need a yoga mat and then also 2 yoga blocks. And be sure to stick around for the end because I'm going to show you an incredible, juicy twist that you're not going to want to miss. I'll see you on the mat. So we'll start by opening the upper back and shoulders, and you'll need your yoga blocks. We'll come into supported fish. So I already have my setup going on here, but I'll walk you through how to do that as well. So you're going to take your blocks or your equally sized books if you don't have yoga blocks, and put one block on its medium height, and this is going to go under your shoulder blades in your supported fish. And then the other block will be on the highest height, and that'll act like a pillow for your head. So this depends on your body, but my blocks are about 6 inches apart. So come and lay your shoulder blades onto that first block, right under your scapula, and then bring your head to the other block. Whew. This is a pretty deep shoulder stretch, so if this is too much, feel free to drop the blocks down to a lower setting so that this feels good for you. And once you get situated here, knees could stay bent or legs can extend. And then reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And really reach. Feel your shoulder blades spread apart. Breathe in. As you breathe out, grab for opposite elbows and begin to guide your arms overhead. Any amount. Inhale. Exhale, draw your ribs closed. Inhale. Exhale, pull the elbows toward one another so that this is somewhat supported and engaged rather than just kind of sinking into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale, draw the ribs closed. So drawing the ribs closed helps to concentrate the stretch to the upper back rather than compensating by puffing up your ribs. Release the arms back towards the ceiling. Take some circles to open up your wrists. And then we'll do a few more breaths in this pose. So grab for the opposite elbow that you did before. If you can't remember, your body will remember. And then gently guide the arms overhead. Maybe as you breathe, you're able to release a little more deeply into this deep shoulder opener. Inhale. Exhale. Close front ribs. Keep breathing, gently pulling the elbows toward one another. Feel like the biceps are hugging towards the ears. Very nice. And then release. Hands to the ceiling. Take some wrist circles. And then we'll gently come off of the block. So a couple ways you could do this. Bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor, and you might press yourself straight up or roll to one side. But you're going to remove the blocks and come back onto your back. Whew, I love that stretch. Such a deep shoulder opener. So come back onto your back and find your happy baby. Grab for the outer edges of your feet, your shins, your knees, whatever happens first. And find a gentle rocking motion side to side. So we started to open the shoulders. Now we're opening the hips and stretching the lower back. And all these poses and drills we'll do today will continue to stretch and strengthen those specific areas that are so useful to you in your golf swing. So draw your knees into your chest and then find your way up to all fours, tabletop position. And if your blocks got away from you, just set them back at the front of your space because we'll use them in a moment. So meet me on hands and knees. We'll come into cat and cow next and open up the spine. So on hands and knees, as you inhale, drop your belly down, gaze up for cow. Exhale, round your spine for cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Keep that going, really focusing on syncing your breath with movement. So this not only opens your spine, stretches your spine, but it calms the mind to sync up breath and movement. Just pause for a moment here, wrist stretch. Turn the insides of your wrists to face the front of your mat. And then you could shift forward and back, or if that's a pretty intense stretch for you, you could just stay there. But opening the wrists, so important for our golf performance. And then turn the hands back to face front. Bring the top of your right hand down so you're feeling a stretch over the top of your right wrist. And just breathe into whatever you find there. And then shake it out and switch to the other hand, top of the left hand down. And a little bit of pressure goes a long way. You know, so if you identify as an athlete, you might be used to kind of muscling through things. In yoga, it's a gentle approach. Yeah, a little bit goes a long way. Shake that out, release, and then send your hips back to your heels, child's pose. So lengthening the tailbone back, reaching the fingers forward. Breathe in, breathe out. Really soothing pose for the lower back. On your next breath in, shift back to all fours and then draw your chest forward and drop your hips, sort of a lazy upward facing dog position. Big breath in here. Breath out, send the hips back to the heels, child's pose. And we'll just flow between those two shapes. Inhale, lazy up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Further awakening your spine and stretching your front body. One more. And then we'll meet back in tabletop. Okay, so back to the upper back. Bring your right hand behind your head and then tap your right elbow to your left arm. Take an inhale. Exhale, open the elbow up towards the sky. Take a twist, and then we'll repeat. Inhale, tap the elbow to the opposite arm. Exhale, twist open. Couple more, moving with breath. So this is one of my favorite ways to open the thoracic spine, the middle part of your spine. And this is the rotation, the movement that you really need in your golf swing. Let's take one more. Open it up. And then reach your right arm up towards the sky. Take some wrist circles. And then reset on all fours. We'll switch. Left hand behind the head. Tap the left elbow to the opposite arm. Inhale. Exhale, twist open. Inhale, close. Exhale, twist open. 3 more, best you can. Keep those hips neutral so you're twisting from above your waist. And this might feel kind of sticky, pretty normal, especially if you're playing a lot of golf. So this will really open things up. Extend your left arm up, wrist circles, and then come back to all fours. Okay, moving downstairs to the hips. Lizard lunge rocks. This is one of my favorites. So step your right foot outside of your right hand, and it's okay if that needs to happen in a couple steps. If your hips are kind of tight, you might use your yoga blocks here to bring the floor to you. And then, very simple, you'll just shift forward and back. Shifting the hips back to the heels, front leg lengthens. And if you're someone who lives in a tight lower body, a piece of advice is to exhale when you feel more sensation. So for me, when I'm leaning back, my hamstrings feel a little tighter, so that's when I breathe out. So using the breath to move tension through the body. Let's come back to all fours, tabletop, and we'll switch sides. Whew. Just notice if you feel any difference between the side that was stretched, the side that is yet to stretch. Just starting to cultivate that mind-body connection with your observation. Shift forward and back. Sinking the hips as low as feels good. And by all means, if you find a spot in this movement that feels good, a place you kind of want to linger and explore, do it. Your body has a lot of wisdom, and yoga teaches you to listen to those cues from your body. Very useful in any sport. Next time you shift forward, we're going to let this go and come back to downward facing dog. Setting the blocks aside, plant your hands, shoulder width distance, and then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, down dog. And just explore this shape. Pedal through your legs, bend one knee and then the other, keeping it loose, letting it stretch your legs and lengthen your spine. And then start to walk your dog. Walk the feet to the hands. Forward fold, top of your mat. Find a ragdoll. So you'll bend your knees, grab opposite elbows, just hanging heavy. Sway a little bit side to side. This is such a great stretch for the lower back. And, in golf, you're bending down a lot, and this can be really relieving for the lower back and some of the hunching that can happen playing for hours. Release the hands, soften the knees, slow roll up to stand to mountain pose. Okay, step your feet as wide as your mat, turn your heels in and your toes out. This is called star pose. We'll start to open the hips, build some heat. Reach the arms up like a human star. Big breath in. Breath out, palms to prayer, bend your knees, half squat. And we'll just flow that. Inhale, star. Exhale, squat. Keep that going. Breathing in and out through your nose if you can. Yogic breath to calm the body and the mind. And breathing in this way conserves your energy, which is very important when you're playing for hours and hours. Breath is so much of performance. Ooh, I kind of lost my balance. Okay, let's beat in a squat. And now mobility challenge for your hips. See if you can lower all the way down to a squat. So do your best. If you're kind of more up here, all good. Breathe, anchor through your feet, pull your chest forward. And now see if you can lower to your seat without a crash landing. So nice and slow. If you do need the hands, place them down, but come to sit on your bum and bring your feet to the floor. Nice work. Navasana boat pose for strong core. So you definitely need a strong core with all the rotation involved in your golf game. So this is one of the best drills in yoga for that. So bring your hands behind you to start and pull your chest towards your thighs, step your feet together. And then see if you can lift your feet up, but maintain that pull of the heart towards the thighs. So this strengthens the core, also strengthens the legs, something we really need. If you feel you can maintain that straight spine, palms to prayer. We'll take about 5 more breaths here. Option to straighten the legs. That'll make it a lot more challenging. Wherever you are, pull the legs together. Press the ankle bones together, gaze between the feet. 1 more breath in. Breath out. Good. Release the feet down. Okay, we're going to come into 1 more round of that because a strong core is not built in a day. But finding proper alignment in this, really key for building supported core strength. So meet me in boat pose. You can keep your hands back there for support. Remember, the goal is straight spine, zipped up core. 5 breaths. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Strong and steady. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Keep pulling the heart to the legs. Inhale. Exhale 5. Feet down, reverse tabletop. Bring your hands behind you. I like to have my fingers facing out. Just gives my shoulders some more space. And then press your hips and chest up and start to shift forward and back. Stretching your chest. And then lower your hips down. Okay, we're gonna open the hips now. 90-90. So swing your left leg behind you. You'll bring your right leg in front. And you want to stack your right knee right in front of your hip. So the idea with this stretch is you're finding 90-degree angles in the front leg and the back leg. If you feel it's really hard for you to sit tall in this position, you could sit on a blanket or a block, just elevate your seat a little bit so that you can sit tall when your right knee is in front of your hip. And then bring your front shin parallel to the front of your mat. Check what's going on with that back leg. So even just sitting here, you're probably feeling some stretch in outer right hip, this one that's externally rotated, and some stretch in your back inner thigh, which is internally rotated. Guess what? When you're in a golf swing, a lot of internal rotation is involved. So we've got to strengthen and stretch our ability to move in this way. So start to hinge forward, finding deep stretch in outer right hip, and just breathe. If you've taken yoga before, you might recognize this stretch. It's kind of close to pigeon, but I like it even more for golf prep because we're working that internal rotation of the back leg. Find your way to sit tall. And then we're going to do a bit of a strength and mobility drill. So see if you can lift just your back heel and lower it down. And it might not lift much at all, but do your best. Whew. So you're working your outer back hip here. The ABD ductors, abductor muscles. Stretching and strengthening the hips in all the ways they move. Good, let that go. We're really working that internal rotation ability there. Now try to lift your back knee and lower it down. Whew. And again, a little bit goes a long way. Strengthening all the muscles that support your hip joint. And you might be like, I didn't even know these muscles existed. They might have been asleep. Just take 1 more. Whew, and then let that go. Okay, so to transition to the other side, we're going to take windshield wipers. So just bring both hands behind your body. Come to face the long edge of your mat, and then just windshield wiper your knees side to side, getting the blood flowing, staying present to any differences in the hips. And then we'll take 90-90 on the other side. So the next time you windshield wiper on over to the left, you're going to situate yourself in your 90-90. Look at that little yoga choreography here. So once again, we want that left knee in front of the left hip, and then the front shin parallel to the front of your mat. Check what's going on with the back leg, and you might notice it's a different situation on this side. All good. Life is not even, and hips are not even. So support yourself if you need by elevating your seat, and then we'll come into that stretch for your front hip. So start to lean forward any amount and breathe. Walk the hands back, so come to sit as tall as you can, and we'll work those internal rotators of the back leg. So see if you can lift your back foot and lower it down. Woo. Strengthening your internal rotation. And just breathe through it. I know it's a tiny, murderous little movement. We'll let that go. Now try to lift just the back knee and lower it down. Whew. Hello, glutes. Breathe. We'll just take 2 more. Last one. Good. Let it go. So bring the hands behind your body. Windshield wipers. Once again, knees side to side. Getting a nice outer hip massage. Good. And then you'll make your way onto your back. So have your block nearby. You're going to need that in a moment. So just set the block where you can grab it and come onto your back for bridge. So coming on your back, knees bent, feet as wide as your hips, and you're going to grab onto the outer edges of your mat. You're going to use your mat to find a deeper expression of your bridge pose. So on your inhale, lift your hips. And then pull on the mat and use that to shift your hips a little higher and snuggle your shoulders underneath your body. So root through your big toes, press your hips up. Feel the muscles of your legs coming to the party here in this back bend. Strengthening lower body, strengthening your back. And then gently lower the hips down, take a moment. And then we'll come into one more round. So on your inhale, lift the hips, keep that grab on the edges of your mat, that isometric contraction. You're pulling back, shifting your hips up, ground your feet. Keep pressing the hips as high as you can and puffing up the chest. So one of the benefits of yoga to prep you for a game of golf is it'll just make you aware of the muscles that you need to engage. Increases your body awareness so you can get the right muscle groups firing and online. Release the hips down. And then just take some windshield wipers, knees side to side. And then grab one of your blocks. Time to fire up the obliques because they really help in the action of twisting and spinal rotation, which we need a lot in golf. So lift your knees off the mat and place the block between your inner thighs on the kind of shortest setting. And then press your low back firmly down into the mat. Feel the ribs close. And then just bring your arms beside you, palms face down. Take a deep breath in. Breath out. Just send the knees a couple degrees to the right, so not a full twist. Come back to center. Squeeze the block. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the left, just a few degrees. Back to center. Good. Keep this going. Just tick-tocking the knees side to side. Squeezing the block, feeling the front ribs draw closed so that you're activating your obliques for supported and strong rotation. So wherever you are in this exercise, just take the feet, or the legs rather, one more time each side. And then come back to center. So keep the block between your legs. Now you're going to send your legs all the way over to one side. I'm going to go to the left first for a twist. Okay, so you're going to roll onto your side and actually fully roll onto your side. And then that block is going to keep your hips stable. And I actually want you to take your bottom arm and bring it to your top thigh so you keep your pelvis stable as you open into a twist. 5 breaths here. Let your head look towards the arm that's twisting open. Inhale. Exhale. Few more breaths. So what's special about this twist is we're keeping the lower body really stable, really grounded, so that we're twisting from the middle of our spine. Good, release. Come on to your back, and then you're just gonna take the legs over to the other side. So you'll lay completely on your side to start. Feel that stack of the pelvis with the block between your hips. And then you're gonna twist open. And you can bring the bottom arm to the top thigh, just to make sure you stay honest in the pelvis. What a weird phrase. You know what I mean? Keep the pelvis stable while we're twisting from above the waist. And you'll notice I'm really sort of exaggerating my breath. The reason we breathe this way in yoga is it helps us to be aware of our breath by listening to the sound of our own breath. So I recommend you try that. It's such a great way to connect mind and body through awareness of breath. Let this go, come on to your back. You can take that block out now. And just draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And rock side to side, massaging your lower back. And then slowly roll onto one side. And find your way back to a comfortable seat. Bringing your spine tall, closing your eyes or softening your gaze. And just taking a moment to check in, observe any shifts, big or small, in how you're feeling physically and mentally after this short but powerful yoga practice. And then bring your palms to prayer at your heart, bowing your chin to your chest, thanking yourself for the effort and focus on your mat. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me. I'll see you soon.